There are 12 Christmas-themed episodes of Power Rangers, and I've just watched them all. The first episode is a straight-to-video special from Season 2 called Alpha's Magical Christmas. I did a video on this last year, so I'll link that in the description, but it's basically Alpha 5 partaking in a bunch of festive activities with kids from all over the world, basically. And it has a bunch of continuity issues, mainly the fact that Billy, Kimberly, and Tommy show up, and Tommy is the Green Ranger, but then we see the viewing globe, and not only do we watch him become the White Ranger, but we also see Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. So there's not a lot to it. And it's boring, so it's going in D tier. MMPR Season 3's I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger was arguably a lot better. The episode opens with Kimberly and Aisha conducting a little Christmas choir as the youth centre is basically helping less fortunate kids have a pretty good Christmas. But Kimberly is also feeling a bit sad because this is her first ever Christmas without her parents. Who are in France, by the way. They're not, like... Lord Zed has a plan. He's going to kidnap Santa and he's going to brainwash kids all over the world to be naughty, basically, and end up on the naughty list. So to combat this, the Rangers teleport to the North Pole and go to Santa's house. And sure enough, Rita Revolto is there with the Tangas, and Santa's all tied up and they're getting their elves to do just their dirty work. So the Rangers have a plan. They're going to lure Rita out of the house, and even Goldar shows up just for extra support. And instead of Morphin, they just start throwing snowballs at him, and they run back inside the house. And then when they come in the house, the elves have set up like Home Alone type traps to basically make them slip and fall over. And they then tie them up in like ribbons and tinsel and stuff, and Alpha teleports them away. And not even to like a prison or like a chamber in the command center, just teleports them back to Lord Zed and Rita. Like you could have apprehended them and stopped them from doing stuff like that again. Did not think about that. I guess no. And now we sit and wait while somebody tells me in the comments that it's just a kids show and it's not that deep. Anyways, the Rangers help Santa finish up all of the presents for him to take around for Christmas, and they even give Tommy a big bag and say, look, take these to all the kids at the youth center, which is really, really sweet. They go back and Kimberly and Tommy share a kiss under the mistletoe, which is what they've been trying to do all episode, and I'm pretty sure that's the last ever on-screen kiss we ever see in the Power Rangers history, so monumental to some, I suppose, I don't know. And then Kimberly's mother returns from France, which is really cute, and they get reunited, and you know, it ends all merry and happy. There's no Morphin in this episode at all. It's so weird. It's like, for what reason? Like, this is a Power Rangers episode, and I know they are the Power Rangers, but come on. It's better than the first one, but it's still boring. I'll put it in C tier. Power Rangers Zeo gives us a season to remember. The episode opens with a young boy being told a Christmas story by his grandfather. We then flash back to the 90s where we see this guy, who we can only assume is the grandfather, and it's basically the Rangers going on about their lives celebrating not only Christmas but Kwanzaa and Hanukkah too. Then we cut to Alpha and Zordon and they're sharing presents. Zordon got for Alpha some bunny slippers, which were really cute, and then Alpha goes into the system and programs for Zordon a Santa hat and a scarf, which, you know, we've seen Zordon with some different looks over the years, but that's definitely one of the most heartwarming ones. King Mondo, of course, then wants to ruin the holiday spirit, but of course the Rangers won't let that happen. And there's also a B plot with Bulk and Skull trying to track down a fruitcake, and I don't mean that in like a boomer like term. I mean physically a fruitcake. Prince Sprocket and the Cogs show up at the youth center, and the Rangers are about to throw hands, even though this guy who we don't really know is to the side of us, but is about to go down. But then what happens was he brainwashes everybody, and then they start arguing over the fact that they're celebrating different holidays, and some are like, this is about Christmas, get your Hanukkah out of here. And then Tanya's like, what about Kwanzaa? And we're like, we don't care about Kwanzaa. And she's like, I don't care about Christmas. They made he literally caused religious discrimination. What? But it's fine, I suppose, because there's a little girl that shows up and sings them a festive song, and it gets rid of the brainwashing. Brother. Like, it makes for a great message to not disrespect other people's cultures and religions. Like, honestly, chef's kiss. But like, is that how you have to do it? To just make them hate the other religions for a bit? Like, what? Oh, and the Bulk and Skull fruitcake thing was Goldar and Rito collecting fruitcake to make a big fruitcake for Bulk and Skull for Christmas, which... The episode then ends though with a reveal that Tommy is the grandfather that is telling this young boy the story, and Kat is the grandmother. We then get somebody else walk through the door and calls Kat grandma, so clearly Tommy and Kat have 2 grandkids minimum, and they're saying, oh yeah, we're going to take you back to mum and dad. And then we hear the communicator beep, and Tommy's like, oh my god, where is it? And then he's like, oh, never mind, it's my grandson's communicator. So this implies that maybe JJ Oliver or somebody else, if they had more kids down the line, we don't know, but JJ Oliver's son is a ranger. But is he the Red Zeo Ranger with the Zeo powers passed on? He has an OG communicator. Is there lore behind this? Obviously it was done back in 1996, but that's lore building, you know, for a Christmas episode as well. You know, it is another Christmas episode without the Rangers actually morphing into Rangers, but what it adds to the universe is pretty extraordinary, I'm not gonna lie. And of course, it sends a great message to just love each other. You know, there's no reason for the hate. So, you know, I'll put it in B tier. 15 years then went by without another Christmas episode, but Power Rangers Samurai give us Christmas Together, Friends Forever. How long do you reckon it took for them to come up with that name? And if the Halloween episodes have taught us anything, we're about to see a trend of a lot of clip shows. The episode focuses on Emily writing a letter to her sister for Christmas, and she's basically telling her about her time as a ranger. Tells her about Mike and Kevin and Jaden and Mia and even Mentor G and even a bit about Bulk and Skull, it seems, who have the side story of wanting a motorbike, but they don't have enough money and they want to save up for it, and you know, Christmas is around the corner and they just want them to be happy little guys doing happy little things, but they can't afford the motorbike. That being said, of course, this episode does have original footage shot for the episode of the Rangers being all Christmassy, which is nice to see. And after the clip show, they're all opening presents at the end and they're all getting gifts except for Mike, and he's like, did Santa forget me? And there's a letter for him that says go outside, and he goes outside and there's a bright green motorbike. So obviously he's gassed, he grabs a helmet and he's off. A bit of time passes and he comes back and they're like, Mike, I didn't hear your bike outside. And he was like, I give it away. And obviously they're white-faced, they're like, wow, what do you mean you give it away? Like, what do you mean? He was like, well, look, I saw some guys and they didn't have anything for Christmas. And I just thought, I've got you guys, I've got family and friends, so I give them the bike. And they're like, that's really cool of you. Until we see Bulk and Spike on said motorbike, Poe, and I didn't even know it, in the sky, just flying with it. And they're like, Happy Christmas! And that's the end of the episode. So, a cute moment. Mike gives up his present for Bulk and Skull. They got the motorbike they wanted. Why they can fly, I don't know. Probably, you know, just Santa magic. And you know, as like weird as it was, and the fact that it was just a clip show, this was the easiest watch. And it was also the most fun. I'm putting that in A tier. That was good. That was good. Super Samurai give us an episode called Stuck on Christmas, which primarily follows Mentor G decorating the dojo for Christmas. We then kick straight into a scene of the Rangers out running, they see a monster and they morph immediately. Now, I've not seen Super Samurai enough recently to know whether this is like reused footage or this was, I don't know, but we see a fight against a villain and that's all cool. And instantly they're growing and instantly they go to the Zords. They defeat the bad guy, but for some reason it like short circuits the Megazord. So they're just stuck in the Zord and they can't move. And Kevin takes the lead and fixes it and he's like, man, I don't know if I can do this. And that's when somebody steps in and is like, well, do you remember when you did this though? And it's another clip show. Now, the thing is with this is that the clip shows get old. They do. You've really got to have a fun concept around the clip shows in order for them to work, I feel. And a lot of, especially some of the Halloween episodes we looked at, definitely didn't. I do like that we get to see more of the Mega Mods, because that's all we also know is original footage. You know, it's not as if they've ripped everything from Japan like they did with the Halloween episodes. Original footage because of the Mega Mods, and it's nice to see them up and more up close as well. The clip show stuff, especially when they're just stationary in the Zord, is a bit boring. But we do at some point see Bulk and Spike come over because they want to give a present to Mia. And Mentor G's just like, you're freezing, come in. They help him decorate. And then at the end, after the Megazord is sorted out, the Rangers show up and Bulk and Spike get to meet the Rangers, and they're, you know, they're very gassed about that, especially since Bulk has spent a lot of his formative years trying to hunt on the Power Rangers. It was a cool moment. And then we just get a rehash of them on the bike from last year's episode. I don't know why. Just a funny end card, I suppose. I don't know. I'll be honest, I wasn't a massive fan of this one compared to the last one. It was fine. I'll put it in C tier. Put in C tier. It's not gonna top the last one. That's the only A tier we've got so far. I thought one of the original ones would have maybe got A tier, but clearly not. On to Megaforce, we get the Robo Knight before Christmas. I see what you did there. Robo Knight doesn't really know what Christmas is, but he wants to start partaking in the festivities just to learn about it. So Noah's like, look, you can't be seen in public. You're a robot, but what you can do is act like you're a massive toy mascot or something like that. So he puts a Christmas hat on him and stations him by some presents in a Christmas tree in the mall. Turns out though, these specific presents are being put there for kids in Africa who won't get many presents for Christmas. And the presents pile up and up and up until they're all maneuvered into a van and shipped off to Africa, at which Robo Knight is sent there. So we're in Africa and there's a bunch of kids excited to open toys, and then Robo Knight steps out and they're like, oh my god, who are you? Are you Santa? He's like, no, I'm Robo Knight. I defend the galaxy, and starts telling them stories about being, well, not necessarily being a ranger, but about the Rangers, and they're loving it. And of course, you know, clip show. But it was a lot more interesting. And he turns into his Zord mode in the end and flies back to the US, New Zealand at the end anyway. So yeah, like, it was all right. It was alright. Megaforce is one of the worst off seasons, but I think I'm putting this in B tier. Like like I said earlier, you know, you've got to really have a solid story and a solid reason as to why you're showing the clip show, other than, okay, this sword needs fixing. Am I good enough? Well, I remember when I was good enough for this completely unrelated thing. And then you know, so on and so forth. So fun fact, Megaforce actually had 2 Christmas specials, and not a lot of people know about the second one. So the second one is called Subscribe to Film Studios This Christmas, and basically what happens is the viewer is feeling very festive and they're watching YouTube at Christmas and they come across a channel talking about Power Rangers and talking about many other types of nerdy content, especially at Christmas time. And then all they did was they pressed the subscribe button and they supported the creator. That was all. You know, it was a good episode. It was a good episode, but I don't know. Maybe putting it in S tier would be a bit biased. Megaforce only had 1. But Dino Charge did have 2, and starting off with Race to Rescue Christmas. It opens up with Santa Claus meeting a bunch of kids, and Poisandra storms in and finds out she's on the naughty list. And what she does as a result of this is steal Santa's computer, because yeah, he's keeping the naughty and nice list like on data files now. You remember the days when he used to write a list? Not today, he's using Excel. We then cut to the Rangers having Christmas dinner and recalling the events of the past year. Now, Santa calls them on their Dino comms because apparently that's something he can do, and he says, look, Poisandra's stolen my computer, you guys need to help out. And you know, there's a bunch of things. Chase is trying to get back to New Zealand for Christmas, and obviously he's like, oh, if I do this, I might miss my plane, right? I'll have to try and risk it. And as they're going through, they're kind of doing the clip showy thing of, how do we do this? Well, remember when we did this? That seems to be the most common theme with Power Ranger clip shows is, oh, we need to solve this. Well, do you remember when we solved something similar? And sometimes it's not really similar. There we go. But this is done a bit better. There's an actual morphing sequence with an actual fight sequence, which is nice. And everything they do is like progressing them in the story rather than them just being stationary and trying to figure out one task. It's like, let's figure out this task, then this task, then this task. It's a bit better than what we usually see. The Rangers do end up saving Christmas, but unfortunately, Chase has missed his flight to New Zealand. He's very sad about it, but he's like, look, it's all for the greater good, I suppose. And everybody tries to convince him, look, your sister thinks you're great anyway, because that's what he's really concerned about, like missing his little sister at Christmas. And Santa comes down the slide and he's like, listen, I've got one more place I need to go in the world, and it's New Zealand. So Chase literally hitches a ride with Santa, comes through the door on Christmas Eve, and there his sister is, and they have a big hug, and it's a very cute moment. Dino Charge is doing alright so far, because we know these Christmas specials are Nickelodeon, like contractual things, like they've just got to do them, and I like where this one went. You know, I'm slapping it in B tier. Dino Supercharge gives us Here Comes Heximas, and they're celebrating their first ever Christmas in this new Dino world, post the finale of Dino Charge, or well, the finale, you know, the end of the main story. Riley, Shelby, and Chase are sweeping up the Dino Cafe, and they basically find presents for them that say open right now, and they're like, we shouldn't, but maybe we should. And they open it, and it's what looks like coal, but then all of a sudden it possesses them, and we don't know why. Tyler then finds that there are similar ones for he and Miss Morgan, so he takes them to her, and he's like, there's some gifts for us, that's pretty cool. And then a space portal opens, and out comes Keeper, Ivan, and Coda from their respected timelines. Now, I like this a lot more already. The fact that they've stuck with the continuity of the show, the fact we had the finale, Coda and Ivan went back, and now they're coming back to the present. Good on them. I wouldn't have expected them to keep up with continuity like that. I love it. Tyler opens his box and it does brainwash him, but also turns him into like an evil elf. And this of course leaves the Rangers no choice but to tie him up and try and figure this out. The plan to unbrainwash him is of course to make him remember who he is. So they recall stories of who he is. They break Tyler's spell and go looking for the other Rangers, and they do find Riley and Chase, and they do the same thing. They tell them who they are. It breaks the spell. Then they go to find Shelby, and there's a lot more monsters there. So there is a one-on-one fight with Shelby versus Tyler, and he's got to do it all on his own. It's like jog her memory and basically say as well, like, you love me, lad. Come on now, like, you love me. And she gets broken free from her spell. And also all 10 Dino Charge Rangers are there. Prince Philip is there. Xenowing is there. James is there. Even Kendall is morphed. Like, it's all out. All 10 Rangers, which, oh, I love the fact they did that. Another solid episode with all things considered. I love that they kept the continuity of the show. I love that they brought all 10 Rangers back. This is also B tier, I think. I really, really liked it. Past, present, and future is the Ninja Steel Christmas episode, and it starts off with the Rangers all opening presents around a Christmas tree. It turns out that Sarah has been super thoughtful and has a notebook that she's been writing in all throughout the year when people have said they like different things, so she can get them the perfect gift. But it seems as though nobody thought about Sarah and didn't get her any gifts. And she's obviously a little bit sad about this, but there's no time to be sad because this massive cat monster shows up. Now, this monster's called Cleopatra for starters, but it turns out we've already kind of seen this monster before because the same suit was used in a previous episode where Cat O'Clock was a villain, and they've just reused the suit, and apparently they're cousins because, you know, there's genetics and family relations in these monsters. And see, in the last episode of the first season of Ninja Steel, the Rangers lost their powers, so they can't morph to fight this monster, and they all get frozen in time by Cleo. But luckily Sarah escapes, and she manages to knock out of the hands of Cleopatra, the machine that helps her freeze time and also clearly helps her time travel. So she's running out the building and she accidentally trips up into Santa's sled. And she's like, what are you doing, Santa? And he's like, oh, I was just checking for Victor and Monty, making sure they're being good, you know. Bit flustered, we don't really know why. And then they accidentally open a portal with the machine and get sent into it. Now, they're in a time portal and they're trying to figure out what is going on. Somehow she gets the grips of the controller. I guess she's very like tech savvy, so maybe there's a world where she just understands this tech and they're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Well, the Rangers don't have power stars, but we are in a time vortex right now. So she has the idea to go through her notebook to see what she had written down about the Rangers, to see if she can figure out different time points that she could go to borrow the power stars off past versions of themselves, and does that. She goes to different episodes that we've seen, and it is a clip show, we get those clips, but then she physically shows up and interacts with the characters from those episodes. There's an episode where Haley and Calvin are up a tree, and you see that episode play out, and then we cut to Sarah spawning in her like woolly hat and everything, and she's interacting and she borrows the power stars. Same with the finale of Ninja Steel, when everybody's locked up in the ship and Brody's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Sarah shows up and she's like, you'll figure it out. Can't tell you what'll happen because the future will change, but if you just let me borrow your power star right now, I can also save us in the future. And that is so cool. Not even like the time-based seasons do stuff like that where they go to the past selves to figure something out to get... Fair play. Ninja Steel, like Megaforce, Ninja Steel is notoriously one of the worst seasons, but that is a cool gimmick, and I think they did it. As far as Power Rangers goes, I think they handled it very, very well. So then Sarah comes back to the future, and she sees everything happen. She sees the Rangers get frozen. She sees the past future version of herself run away and the monster run off, and then she unfreezes the Rangers, gives them the power stars. They're like, how did you get this? Like, look, I'll explain later. They morph and they go out and they fight Cleopatra. Brody then uses the lion fire like Shogun mode and grows to the size of a Zord and fights the monster while they're big, sorts it out and defeats the monster, saving Christmas more or less. Sarah then goes back in time and hands all the power stars back, assumably to the exact moment that she left, and then she's like, look, that was wild, and the reason you guys don't remember any of that is because the timeline's restored now. Whatever. And she kind of realizes, you know what, it's okay that you guys didn't give me a Christmas present because I just love hanging out with you guys. And that's the reveal that the reason Santa was there is because that was the Christmas present. She loves speed. Her Zord is a train. She loves a hoverboard. She loves going fast. She was going to get to ride in Santa's sleigh. She was going to get to herself pilot Santa's sleigh. And that was the present, which I suppose is quite cute. Bit of a weird gift, but it is what it is. Hands down, one of the best ones so far. Absolutely. Like, the concept of the show, they barely use clip show stuff. They barely use clips from older episodes, and I just think Sarah time traveling into old episodes was great. It's going in A tier. It is going in A tier. Fight me in the comments. I don't care. The next episode is in Super Ninja Steel and it's called The Poisy Show. The episode opens with the return of Sledge and Poisandra and all of them, and they're basically on Galvanax's ship and they take over the stage of Galaxy Wars and turn it into The Poisy Show. Plan is to kidnap the Rangers, have them on the show, and then Sledge obviously gets to keep the powers and Poisandra's happy because she's got a TV show. Cut to the Rangers, they're helping donate gifts to less fortunate kids, and they get a gift from Wes Collins from Time Force, and it is a transportal device from Dimensions in Danger, and it's Wes clearly from the same day of the film Dimensions in Danger, saying, Merry Christmas, this is for you guys so you can help Rangers all across the multiverse. Already off to a ridiculous start for a Christmas episode. Sledge then appears with some ice monster, and the ice monster turns most of the Rangers into snowmen except Preston. He gets away, and whilst fighting head to head with Sledge, accidentally opens a portal to another dimension. The Rangers get taken up to the Poisy Show, and they've got to sit and recall clips from older episodes. You know, they do the clip show stuff on that TV show, whilst Preston is in the Dino Charge world. There are dinosaurs cutting about the place as he's fighting Sledge, and then Coda shows up. Not only do we get the return of the GOAT, Yoshi Sudaso, but we get a Dino Charge crossover. The Sudaso brothers getting to do a one-on-one collab rather than just Dimensions in Danger, and this is a Christmas episode. And I don't know if any of you guys watch Brennan Mahia's YouTube channel. Apparently that crossover was meant to be a full team one, and then budget just meant like, oh, we can have 5 Rangers, we can have 4, we can have 3, we can have 2, right, we can have 1. Let's throw Yoshi also in there because it makes the most sense. So they're catching up. They're like, oh my god, it's so good to see you. I accidentally got teleported here with this because I bumped the button or whatever. They both do a dual morph together, which looks sick, and then they fight Sledge. There's a dinosaur, T-Rex even, that scares him off, and they teleport back to the universe, but Sledge follows them. Coda and Preston then sneak on to Galvanax's ship to free the Rangers and free the Ninja Power Stars. Oh yeah, because by the way, they lost their powers again after Ninja Steel. But then the Ninja Nexus Prism randomly shows up to give them their powers back just before this ordeal happens. It's confusing. It is what it is. But they save Christmas. They do a little Zord battle and whatever. And then right at the end, Coda's like, look, Merry Christmas. Why don't you come back to my world and celebrate a bit of Christmas with me caveman style, you know, before Jesus existed. But I suppose he knew about Christmas from the future, so he went back and told people maybe, I don't know. And again, yeah, it's a clip show, but it's a Dino Charge crossover. I mean, we have not had any previous season crossovers in so long. Jaden showed up in Megaforce. That was anniversary things. You know, Beast Morphers, we had a clip of them in Dino Fury. It wasn't actually them. The fact that we got Coda back at minimum for Ninja Steel was so cool. And in a Christmas episode, this makes no sense. All right, it might be time, you know, S tier. S tier. Ninja Steel pulls it out of the bag with this episode. I can't reiterate enough. Like, not a great set of seasons. The Christmas episodes, for some reason, go off incredibly. Well done. Well done. Beast Morphers then offers us Scrozzles, Revenge, and all the Beast bots are baking cookies and stuff, including Steel. And the Rangers have got to deal with Scrozzle, who's escaped, and they get turned into baubles. And then they've got to recall old events to figure out how to get them out of the baubles. And it's not like Dino Charge, but it's like, recall event for this. Okay, that task is complete. Recall an event for this. That task is complete. It's all recalled events just to do one task. Honestly, nothing much happens, like, at all. Is a bit of a fight. And the same Santa actor shows up again. You've got to at least give respect to the fact that they cast one guy as Santa in like Samurai or maybe Dino Charge, I don't know. And he just consistently was Santa going forward. I've seen that guy's face so many times today. And spoiler alert, he's about to show up in Dino Fury as well. I reckon I'm gonna have to burn this episode. It is so boring. Maybe Alpha's Magical Christmas should be burnt as well upon rethinking it, but that was the first, and it was like a straight-to-video thing. Like, they kind of knew, do you know what I mean? They kind of knew what they were doing with it. Alright, the final Christmas episode in the entire show is in Dino Fury, and it's very fittingly called Secret Santa. There is a Meet Santa event, and Harvey is playing music for it. He's singing Jingle Bells, and people are throwing coins into his guitar case, and this really strange guy puts a star for like a top of a Christmas tree in there. Izzy shows up and he's like, you sound great. Have you finished your Christmas shopping? Because Secret Santa's today, and Amelia's going to be really annoyed if you don't, you know, if you don't provide. And he's like, I haven't even started. So there's a bit of drama, but he takes the star and he takes it to the command center, or like, you know, the base, and he puts it on the tree, and he's like, oh, I'm spreading some joy, but I've also got to figure this out. He gets Solon a very awful gift. He gets her a pair of gloves, and obviously she can't wear gloves, she's got clothes. So the Rangers go, look, you stole Solon, because he's kind of like, I'm not good at buying gifts. You stole her. We'll go find some other stuff. That's what they do. He's stolen it. And they also have a bunch of letters from Power Ranger fans that they're going to open and read. The letters cut off all the signal to the communications. They can't teleport out. They can't communicate out. Awful. Why's that? Muka shows up on a hologram and says there is something in the base that is a bomb. Good luck. You've got 10 minutes. Christmas time just got dark. So that all happens, and they're going through each present trying to figure out what the problem is, what the bomb is, basically. And with each present, it's like, huh, this person got this because of this episode. Standard clip show stuff. They obviously end up finding out that the star on the top is the bomb, and on the outside, the other Rangers are fighting other monsters just as this is going on. It's pure chaos. They end up destroying the bomb. They're safe. They all go into the Zodes, and they're all fine. And then it gets to the end. And basically Harvey realizes, look, maybe the perfect gift isn't the perfect, like, boat gift, but the perfect thought-out gift, if you know what I mean. And gives Solon his songbook, because she's kind of said, I'm not a great singer, I love music, but it's not really, you know, I can't really give myself to it. So that's what Harvey does, gives her his songbook, which is quite cute. And if you feel like I rushed through that one, it is just because it is the most mid one of all, I think. Like, it's nothing great, nothing bad. We've had worse, we've had better. C tier. Straight in the middle. But actually, I'll put it at the top of C tier. Right at the top of C tier. Just so we know where it stands. And that's it. Every single Christmas episode of Power Rangers. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with my tier list? Do you disagree? I'd love to have a conversation in the comments. And let me know your favorite Christmas episode. 40 minutes, that is. I don't know how long this video is for you guys, but I've been filming for 41 minutes. Crazy.